Ridiculous, right? Ridiculous, ridiculous. Once again, we hear another story of another false accusation. Now, do I feel like it actually happened? I don't feel like, to the severity, but I do feel like, something happened. I do feel like something happened, but I don't feel like, not to the extent that, this chick made it out to be. I mean, it says prosecutors say he didn't break the sister's neck. I mean, damn, break the sister's neck. I mean, don't sometimes if you break your neck, you're paralyzed or you're dead. But I mean, once again, right? Here's the thing about it, right? And it kind of reminds me of the situation, which once again, brothers, I don't know why we constantly put ourselves in these situations, right? But it kind of goes back to, Reuben Foster, right? We all hear about Reuben Foster, right? Or if y'all keep up with football, y'all heard about Reuben Foster, where his girlfriend had called the cops, or people have called the cops numerous of times, right? And it comes out that he never put his hands on the woman, right? Now, once again, I feel like in that situation, something was happening, right?
The ounce I'm referring to was his girlfriend at the time, and here's where things really start to heat up and get controversial. If you haven't paid close attention to anything I've said so far, you better lock in right here because you're gonna miss out. Here's where things get fishy. The second time he got arrested in February, here's what his girlfriend stated to the police. She said that Reuben Foster hit her 8 to 10 times, dragged her out of his house, threw her to the ground, and spit on her in a domestic altercation. Ennis, who's his girlfriend, then alleged that Reuben Foster broke her phone and threw their dog at her. Among the injuries, Ennis, his girlfriend once again, suffered a ruptured eardrum that required a hospital visit the later day. The later day. Why did I say that? Later in the day. You get what I'm trying to say. She stated that on February 11th, but here's the fishy part. Only a day later, she calls the police and says, "Oh yeah, I lied about that. It didn't happen." She called the detective on the case on February 13th and stated she had been involved in a fight in San Francisco and she sustained her injuries there. So I hope you understand what I just said. If not, let me run through it briefly. She called the police at first and said Reuben Foster hit her and did all this terrible stuff, but then only a couple days or a day after, she claims that, he didn't actually hit me. I got these injuries from a fight somewhere else. If you're confused by this, don't worry, you're not the only one. I was confused by it, and so was the people working the case. It made zero sense whatsoever. How are you going to call the cops, say this guy hit me and is doing terrible stuff to me, but a day later you're going to say, "Oh, my bad, I lied about it, it was something else"? I think we're all in the same boat here. It doesn't make sense.
Something was happening, but the sister is sitting over here going in. Oh, yes, yeah, he did put his hands on me. He did put his hands on me. But then go right back to him and then sit over here and say, "Well, you know what, I was just lying to y'all." And she did that multiple times, right? Now, here's the thing. This narrative that, hey, back in the day, right? Back in the day, well, you know what, a lot of your women, right, if you're a black man, you date, a white woman, they're going to lie on you, right? But now we're seeing a whole lot more sisters constantly lying on brothers, right? This narrative is changing. This narrative is changing. We're seeing a lot of sisters constantly telling on brothers, falsely accusing brothers of some that they did not do. Now, so we have this situation here where she did the same thing to this brother. Sat over here, falsely accused this man, right? Lost his whole career. Now you're coming back and saying, "Well, you know what, hey, he didn't touch me. He didn't hit me." People, what are we doing here? Right? What are we doing here? And we're constantly going to, once again, make men leave their jobs, right? Pretty much lose out on their life, lose out on money because of what a woman said, right? You can't even prove it. You cannot even prove it. You cannot even prove it. You cannot prove it. But once again, hey, guess what? We're going to go ahead and remove him. We're going to go ahead and remove him from the team, right? And the sad thing about it is you got DeAndre Francis. Once again, I'm going to always bring this up. I'm glad shit like this happened because here's the thing about it. It's so much proof that I have. It's so much proof that I have backing up my claims that guess what? This narrative that if black men date outside their race, they're going to get told on. Plenty of white women are going to tell on them. Plenty of white women are going to falsely accuse them of something that they did not do. Come on, man. Right? I'm not saying that it doesn't happen because you see it a lot, right? You're seeing it a lot right now. But once again, right? And prime example, Deshaun Watson, right? Prime example, Deshaun Watson. I'm pretty sure they're all pretty much damn near all white women, right? Falsely accusing this man of something. And we don't even, and the reason I say that is because we don't even know what these women look like. They've never even brought these women up. They've never even showed pictures of these women. So when you sit over here and you look at somebody like DeAndre Francis, right? Still can't even get that brother's last name right. But was a quarterback for Florida State. He done sat over here dating his sister, right? She done falsely accused this man of DV. Guess what? Brother done pretty much got kicked off the football team, right? Got kicked off the football team. She comes back. She then comes out and sits here and say, hey, well, you know what? Yeah, I did lie. He didn't put his hands on me. I didn't know it was going to get to this point. You didn't know that falsely accusing him of something that he did not do was going to freaking get him expelled from school, lose out on his career. Sean Oakman, same thing. Sat over here, falsely accused of rape. Lost out 2 years. He was supposed to be going first round. End up going to jail for 2 years. Done. Pretty much damn near NFL career done. Nobody wants him anymore. And it's sad, right? It's sad because this is what we're constantly seeing. Doo-doo low, right? FTN Bay accused this man of doing something with her child, putting screwdrivers somewhere that shit shouldn't go. But guess what, right? He goes fight that in court, wins, get $11 million defamation suit. Come back, she gets a retrial. Where do they do that at? Because guess what? If he was accused of that and he was actually guilty of it, he would be sitting in jail. But you don't ever see that. Why? Because once again, this is the type of system that we have towards black men, right? Believe all women, right? This is the type of society that we're living in, right? There's no such thing as innocent until proven guilty. It's guilty until proven innocent. And a lot of men are losing out on their lives because of this. This is why, hey, you really can't change these women. You have to change who you deal with. Change who you deal with, brothers. Because we cannot be seeing ourselves in this situation, right? We see ourselves in this situation far too many times. It's mainly brothers, right? And we're seeing a lot of sisters throwing brothers up under the bus. But yet, once again, oh, well, black men don't protect black women. Well, you know what, hey, we need to have more black men protecting black women. But we don't ever have any black women protecting black men. And that's a sad case because guess what? There is no sister that's going to speak up about this. Sisters are not going to speak up about this. You're only going to have a small group of sisters saying something about this, saying this is wrong. But most of your other sisters, they're going to find a way to justify this. They're going to find a way to sit over here and say, well, you know what, she ain't lying. No accountability, man, for sisters, and that's sad.